Perfect. Right. Hi, everyone. We are here tonight to do another hot seat. Last month, we did it with Debbie, and it was absolutely class. And tonight is just going to be just as special, just amazing. It's going to be so many gold nuggets from it. I am super excited for it. So we've got Claire in. Claire is going to talk about her journey and go through everything with you. I'm super excited for it. How are you feeling, Claire?
Yeah, all right.
A little bit nervous. It's all right though. Everyone will get so much value from this class, and kind of we'll just go through things. And it's a little bit of an unusual one because you're not a teacher, are you?
No.
But kind of, I thought we'd start with kind of life before. So talk about life before you joined up, what it was like, how you felt, everything like that.
Okay, yeah. So as I say, because I'm not a teacher, I'm a data analyst. So basically my job is sitting in front of a computer screen all day, every day, tracking data and creating reports. So the only sort of active movement I get is sort of if I go to the gym or whatever. So I probably was never really doing the right things in the gym. But the biggest thing for me was always the food, because I've been going to the gym. I can't even remember when I first signed up. I think my mum signed me up when I was a teenager. So the gym and working out has never really been the problem. It's always been the food, really, for me. And before I sort of started working with Martin, always kind of felt like food sort of controlled me in a way. And I sort of had, having done Slim and Well, Weight Watchers, you name it, I've tried it. I've always had this view of food as good and bad. And I think the other big one was always, because one of the things on Slim and Well was unlimited food. And I'm not going to lie, I went for that. So literally my portion sizes just went way out of control. So but even like outside of that, like hated seeing photos of myself, sort of always felt like the fat friend, and had very little confidence. This would never have happened a few years ago, ever. Yeah.
That just shows how far you've come as well, because I think it's important with that. Like, I think so many people in here can relate to kind of that food battle and stuff like that. And it always makes me laugh when you bring up that Slim and Well, because when I was younger as well, my mum was the same. She was always a Slim and Well, and she was like, "Oh, you need to," because I was a bit podgy as a kid. You need to do this, and I was like, "What do you do?" And she was like, "Well, you can do it." I don't know whether it was Weight Watchers or Slim and Well. She was like, "You can do a red day or a green day." Yep. And I was like, "What's the green day?" And she was like, "Unlimited potatoes, pasta." Yep. And I was like, "Brilliant! I'll do that one." She come over. She was like, "Where's all the pasta?" I was like, "I bet."
Yep.
Like, oh, 4 bags.
Yep.
And I think that's it. But I think the key bit there as well is that confidence, is that kind of, that fear you might have had before, which has gone away, which is brilliant. So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit more. Let's talk about life after, like life now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest ones for me, sort of, aside from the confidence, the fact that I sort of feel a bit more in control around food. It's like you said to me the other day about having the cake for my birthday. My niece picked the cake as well, so I could hardly turn around and be like, "No, I'm not having it," to explain to a 3-year-old. But like, I just feel like I'm so much more in control. And I'm actually realizing how much I was eating before. Like, one example is my dad, bless him, brought me a steak, and it was like 500, 600 grams of steak. Now, before, my eyes would have lit up and I'd have been like, "Let's eat it, let's have it now." I looked at it and I was thinking, in my head, I'm going, how many calories is that going to be? And I looked it up and it was like over 500 calories for this bit of steak. And although I will have it at some point, but I would have eaten that without even thinking about it. And they'd probably eaten a lot of other stuff on top of that. But yeah, like eating meals out without feeling guilty. When I went out for my birthday on Sunday, I had a burger because that was what I wanted. And it's just really weird to do that without sort of feeling guilty about it. And but yeah, going back to the confidence thing, like a couple of things, I've gone for a new job, which I'm just going through the vetting process, but I wouldn't have gone for this job like a little while ago. So that was huge. And I think I felt so much more confident in the interview as well. And I think it came across to them as well. So yeah, and I'm loving photos now.
Yeah. And that I think is a key one, because it was with the Arsenal player, wasn't it? The women's Arsenal player, I can't remember her name. She said like it was the first time kind of you'd had photos and you were like, you know what, I love these, rather than thinking, oh, don't like the way I look or hide it away. And I think I've especially noticed that kind of on social media, see a lot more pictures of you now. See a lot more pictures of you, and that's just obviously you want to show yourself more, isn't it? Not thinking, oh, that picture's not good enough, that picture's not good enough. Instead being like, I love that one. It's so good to see. And I think it's just thing, and the thing is, it's showing even more aspects of your life, like new job, like more confidence that way, and I just love it all. And even the things around food, like the two sides of it, not feeling guilty about food, not feeling like, oh, I can't have that. That guilt goes away. But at the same time, also understanding and analysing food, like, do you know what? I'm actually not going to enjoy that steak right now. I'll save it for a day when I will.
Yeah.
I love it there. Brilliant. So talk to me a little bit then about, because you are thriving at the minute, talk to me a little bit about what you think is helping you thrive right now. What are the parts of the program? What are you doing right now that's helping you thrive?
I think the biggest one for me is tracking on MyFitnessPal, because originally it was mind-blowing, because I was like, oh my God, how much food was I actually eating? But now it's really helpful, because it's like you'll see on my posts on Instagram, even if I go over, I'm still tracking it. So I know what I've done, what I've eaten that day. And I think that really helps me at the moment, because it just gives me that control of, okay, so I did do that, but am I still in my calorie deficit? Is it still going to work out across the week? Whereas before I would have thought, right, well, I've blown it today, so I've blown it, so that's it. Whereas I can actually see the week. Like you said to me the other day when I said about the Friday where I'd gone, I can't remember how many, it was 250 calories over, wasn't it? I think, I can't remember, but, and you literally just said to me like, but you're still in a calorie deficit. So
that's it. And it's that understanding. It's just knowing that kind of you're in it, kind of that way. And I think that's a key bit, especially for a data analyst like yourself. Like once you get used to it, you must just be thriving in it. But that's the understanding with it. It's knowing kind of not to throw the baby out with the bathwater and be like, oh, I'm 200 calories over, so I might as well just eat everything under the sun. But at the same time, also knowing, do you know what? Sometimes we are a little bit hungrier. Sometimes we do need to eat a little bit more that day. Because I bet you also have other days where you're 200 under. And on those days, you're not like, right, I need to eat more tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's that understanding, that flexibility. So MyFitnessPal, huge one.
Yeah, I think the other two, I think is planning for me. I know I said this to you about tonight. I plan everything. I don't know whether it's just the data analyst in me or what, but I literally have to plan everything. Even if I don't stick to it, like it might be I put in the app, right, this is what I'm going to have as my main meals, but then Dad might come home and say, oh, me and Mum are having a chicken casserole. Do you want to have it? And I'll be like, yeah, okay. But I've got that plan. So I've got my plan A, but if something changes, I know where I am, what I've eaten already, and then what I've got left. So
and that's it. And it's planned, like we always talk about it. It's probably one of the key aspects we talk in here, like planning. And it's that understanding, like you said, isn't it? Even if you don't stick to the plan, you probably stick to it about 80% of the time. And that's what gets it. It's then you haven't got that fatigue, that decision fatigue of always trying to think, what am I going to have? How much have I got left? You just know. Like, oh, well, I just need to change that around. So MyFitnessPal, planning, absolutely class.
I mean, with the planning as well, like I know next week, so I normally work out Monday to Saturday and have Sunday as a rest. But next week I will be in Sunderland Saturday morning, and I'll be sharing a hotel room with a friend. I'm not getting up in the morning to do that. I'm like, no, this is not going to happen. But what I'm thinking is, yeah, Saturday will be my rest day, and then when I'm at home on Sunday morning, I'll do my Saturday workout on the Sunday. So just swap it around. So,
and I think that shows just where this change is coming in you, where that confidence is coming. It's that planning. Planning is key with it. Love it. Talk to us about the last thing then. What's the last one? We've got My Fitness Pal, we've got planning. What's the last thing that's got you thriving?
it's the support from you, Chloe, and like everyone else in the group, like the WhatsApp groups, Facebook, everything like that. Just, yeah.
Yeah. I think support's key. I think support's key, and that's why I always love it. Like at the moment, especially with kind of the Facebook group just going off right now, like boom, boom, boom. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I think support's key, as you've said. And kind of talk to us about how that support's helped you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I've put questions in about different things like snacking, and people have come back, loads of people have come back with different ideas of what I can do, and stuff like that. And having people like in the WhatsApp group, although we don't message every day, but sometimes if you're having a bad day and somebody's put a message in and you're like, I might be like thinking, oh, I'm just going to blow it, and then you'll just look down and see, oh, there's a message. You think, actually, no, because they haven't even said anything about it, but it's just, yeah, that clicks you back into what you're doing. So
I like it. Just the idea, is it just helps remind you, those reminders, those little daily things with it. And that's it. And, you know, as much as we want the groups to be bouncing and everyone thriving in them, it doesn't have to be a message every day. As long as everyone's touching base, keeping track, it's the main thing with it. But it's that understanding, I think, as you said, knowing that everyone in that group, everyone in the Facebook group, everyone in your pod is there to support you, to make sure you win. Love it. And with that in mind, let's go on to your wins. Talk to me about your 3 biggest wins that you've got.
So I'd say the measurement tracking and the photos are my sort of one of my biggest ones, because even like I said to you the other day, the weight doesn't always come off. But what I can see when I have the photos and I've got the measurements as well is I can see where the changes are. And the other win is 2 sizes down on a pair of trousers I brought when I'd already started working with you, Martin. So that was in January. So I've gone down like 2 sizes in that time. So yeah, seeing those changes is huge, because it just gives you the motivation to carry on. So and keep going with it. And I say the other one is just around the food control, because it's just huge. I feel like I can eat with mum and dad, or we can go out and have a meal, and I don't need to feel guilty, and I can just enjoy it. And like tomorrow night, Saturday night even, we're going to Brettington's in Rochester. It's steak and lobster. They don't do small sizes of steak, but I am going to enjoy it because it's one of my favorite restaurants. So it's just being able to not, before I would have just felt so guilty and not wanted to go and stuff like that. So just being able to feel a bit more in control and enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think all as a kid, like the photos, the measurements, tracking, like seeing yourself in photos, I think is just a huge win. Seeing yourself in photos and just loving who you see. Like it's such a good feeling, because I think we've all probably been there where you see a photo of yourself and you're a bit like, oh, I don't like this one. You pick it apart, and the fact that that's not happening, the fact that you see in those photos is just so game changing, because it allows you just to enjoy life more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Takes away that fear, takes away that worry about going out, takes that worry about being caught at a bad angle, because you just know you're gonna love the photos.
Yeah.
And kind of, I think that food one is a real big one as well, that win with food, about getting rid of that guilt, enjoying it, and understanding it there, realizing that there's a difference between going out for a meal and enjoying it, and just binging a load of chocolate one night and being like, do you know what? I don't even know why I did it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, just knowing that you can almost have your cake and eat it. Well, you did.
Yeah, I did.
You can have your cake and eat it, because it's how we focus on that, like 80%, isn't it?
Mm.
And you're just a testament to that, just how you're turning up, you're sticking to that plan, you've got that routine around it.
Mm.
And like everyone's saying, like your confidence is shining through to everyone who's watching. Like it's class.
Yeah, I mean, I think even my portion sizes have dropped so much. I went out for a meal the other day and I fancied a mixed grill, and I ordered it. I started eating it and I think I got about halfway through and I was like, I actually don't think I can eat the rest of this,
Yeah.
which is not like me at all. Like normally I'm like, just keep giving me the food. And I'm like, I'm actually not hungry. Like I've eaten more than enough. So I actually stopped, which isn't like me either. So yeah, it's definitely back in control. So
Yeah, and that's such a huge thing, because loads of people struggle with that. And it's that mindset, and it's almost probably that mindset shift you're having now, that change of that thinking about, okay, well, if I finish this plate, what am I gonna gain? Like, I'm gonna feel bloated, I'm gonna feel stuffed, I'm not gonna enjoy it while I'm eating it, and I'm not gonna enjoy it afterwards. I'm gonna stop now. I enjoy myself. I had the food I did. So I think that's mine. Like, it's mind blowing and game changing for you. As Chloe says, yeah, mindful eating, listening to your internal cue. Yeah. So important. It's that being intuitive. It's so right. And I guess that brings us on to the next one. You're planning these brilliantly, so they just flow together. Like lessons. Talk to me about like the 3 biggest lessons you've learned while being part of this community.
I think the biggest one for me is that the scales are not the be all and end all in all of this. Like I say, like looking at the photos and actually liking it and fitting into clothes that I like, it's like now that's become more important. It almost doesn't matter to me anymore. It still does. There's still that little part in the back of my mind, but it actually doesn't matter. Like I feel more comfortable in my clothes. I've got clothes that I've had for a while that I haven't been able to fit into, and they fit now. And that is more important now to me than what the scales say the next time I get on it. So that's probably the biggest one.
I think that's huge, because I would say that to people, like, if you are desperate to lose a stone, cut off, like, lose it straight away, but you don't get any of what you want.
Yeah.
And you're getting what you want. You're getting that confidence. You're liking how your body's changing, how your clothes are fitting better. And sometimes kind of the weight drops with that. Sometimes it doesn't. It's just how you train, how you eat, how your body's going to change. And I think you get into that place where like you're almost there, where the scales don't even matter at all. And we'll get you there to where it doesn't care at all. You're going to be able to look at yourself and think, I look good. That's all that matters. Yeah. Like, that's huge. And I think when we break that cycle with the scales, that's when that game-changing thing happens, because you're focusing now, aren't you, just on those habits, those routines, those structures, those systems to get you where you want to be, rather than have I lost weight? Oh, it's a success or not.
Yeah.
I love it. What's the next lesson you've got for everyone?
So I think the second one I'll probably say is that sort of covered it in a way, but one bad day, one bad meal, one bad snack is not the end of the world. Just not all the time. It's like, but yeah, that's taken a long time for me to not accept, but sort of come round to, if you like. Like normally I would have just felt really guilty about it, and like that would have just sent me off track for like a week, if not longer. Like, so that's been huge.
That's it, yeah, because we can have whatever we want. We just can't have everything we want, and that's the key, isn't it? As you say there, no one bad food, snack, or anything. Like, realistically, the media portrays as stuff, but there isn't even bad food. There's just more calorie dense food, and sometimes it's vilified. I saw a really good post actually today where someone had put like a Reese's cupcake up and then an organic chocolate peanut cake, and they were the same calories, but one was healthy and one wasn't, because one was organic and one was a chocolate. And it's like you said there, it's getting rid of that guilt with them. It's understanding like that food morality, like where Chloe put that little mini webinar in. food morality with it and understanding. And that's the key, because when you can have that meal and not feel that guilt like you're not now, then you can go back to what you're always doing. When you were having that guilt, as you're saying, spiraling, you were going to a place where you were like, oh, now I'm 4 takeaways deep this week, when realistically all you had on the Monday was a Mars bar.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
And now that's completely gone. Now you can have that Mars bar and those takeaways when you want, as long as you're planning them in and you know that kind of you're going to enjoy them, rather than just kind of the I'm tired, push the button.
Yeah.
I love it. Give us your last lesson then.
So you've actually, I think you just said it, but it's your quote of you can eat whatever you want, you just can't eat everything you want. And I really try and stick to that. Like if I think like that steak, when I do have that steak, or tomorrow, Saturday, when I go to that restaurant and have that steak, right, I'm going to plan my meal for the evening, and I'm going to say, right, this is what I'm going to have at that restaurant. What does that leave me for the rest of the day? And I'm going to stick to that, because I really want to enjoy that meal. So I'm having what I want, but just not everything I want across that day. So yeah, that's huge. But yeah, just saying, I think along the same lines as that is something I saw the other day about a healthy relationship with food means saying yes and no.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the biggest change or biggest lesson that I've learned is you can say yes and no. Sometimes saying no is also the right thing to do. So
yeah, and you know what, I think you've summed it up perfectly there. And it's kind of like going to that restaurant. Like, you should go to that restaurant and not feel guilty because it's just food. You know, it just means have it there, and as you say, you go with a plan, you think about what you want beforehand, and you're laughing. It's just that idea of what we couldn't do is you'd be like, right, I'm going to a restaurant tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. And I'm doing the same next weekend, but I've got a meal in between as well. That's where it's like, okay, well, now we have to put those structures in place a bit more. Otherwise, that weight's going to go on. But as you said there, it's about the thing, probably a lot of the theme tonight, like it's focusing on that 80%. It's focusing on that 80, 90% and making sure that's nailed and enjoying the rest so that you don't have that guilt. I think that's key. And I think it's kind of like really sums up tonight really, really well. And I think there's going to be so much that people are going to take from this, because I know there's a few people, especially at the beginning of the journeys, still with that relationship with food, still with that kind of guilt, kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I think hearing your story here, it's just so powerful for them, because they can see kind of where they're going to lead to next. They're all going to end up with promotions. They're all going to be flying that way, just like you are. It's class. We're kind of, let's wrap up tonight just with a little bit of like, any other advice you've got for anyone? Like, what other advice do you have, if any, for people?
I think definitely take measurements and have the photos, because as I say, even then you can see the changes that are happening, even if you can see it written down, even if you can't personally see it yourself, which always helps. And try and enjoy it as well. Like, I think the reason that I'm able to do the workouts every day is that I'm doing stuff that I'm enjoying. And that really helps, because I don't, like, I'm not gonna lie, like this morning my alarm went off at like 4:30, and that was, you don't want that, but what it did mean is I got up, I got my workout done, I got everything done that I needed to do before I started working, and that's just set me up for the rest of the day. So, but you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy your workout and your alarm goes off at 4:30, you're not going to do it. So yeah, definitely try and find something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah, I think that's key. Enjoyment in everything. Yeah, people getting shocked. Early nights for Claire. Straight to bed after this.
I'm in bed by 9 most nights.
But that's it. And it's finding what works for you. And like, that's the key. I always say to everyone, like, if you're not enjoying your workouts, if you tried it for a bit, shoot me a message. We'll get them tweaked. We'll get them sorted. But that's the key to it all, I think. Enjoyment of the workout, getting your steps in, everything and setting yourself up in ways that just you win. Like, you know, if you struggle getting up, whether it's 4:30, whether it's 6:30, whether it's 8:30, whatever time you're getting up, put the alarm away from you. It's going to make you get out of bed. Anything which actually makes you physically get up is going to keep you up. But no, that's been class tonight, Claire. It's been so good. And I know everyone in here is going to be inspired from it. I know everyone listening back, they're just going to be listening as well. They're going to be inspired from it. They're going to get so much from it.
I was just going to say on Rhiannon's comment, like, Rhiannon, that's literally why I do the pictures as often as I do. Because as I said earlier, my weight hadn't changed for quite a while. But what I could see was on the photos, the changes from even sometimes I just go from the beginning to where I am now and just compare those two. And you can, yeah, it's huge.
It definitely is. But no, it's been class. Thanks so much for tonight. Being an absolute star coming in. And yeah, love to see the chat lit up just with everyone saying thank you and stuff like that. But no, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thanks so much for doing that tonight, Claire.